Hello, and thank you for the time that you give to listen to these talks of mine. I do appreciate it. This week I wanted to talk about the parable that Jesus tells. We read it in a number of the synoptics, especially Matthew, about Jesus going out, Jesus talking about the sower going out to sow the seed and the different land that the seed falls on. And what this can teach us, what we need to think about in this regard. So first of all, if we look at the types of land that it says the seed fell on, it obviously deals, as we know in the explanation, with the various situations people find themselves in life and how difficult it can be or how easy it can be for them to grow, for them to allow growth and to allow life to come about. The first of them, of course, is some of the seed landed on the road. And of course, roads are things that we purposely compact and make pretty much a place where nothing can grow. And so it's very hard for anything other than that flat surface to remain. That's our purpose that we set out on when we create a road. And we find that in some people's cases, we sometimes say they've put up barriers, but you could say that they've made a road of themselves where they won't let anything touch them. They won't stop and think about anything. They just want to stay as they are and don't want anything to change. This can be other people or it can be us. The second type of soil is rocky soil, where it's the roots don't have any depth, and so when the sun comes it burns them up quickly. And obviously this refers to when we have some sort of a faith and perhaps a newly acquired faith, but there isn't any real backing to it. We haven't really given it time to develop roots, proper roots, and then difficulties come. And these difficulties cause us to fall away from our path of growth and our path of being what we can be to this world. The third type of soil is the soil full of weeds that choke the growth of what we need to grow in our lives. And this Jesus likens to all of the worries of our lives, all of the other concerns we have that we give more time to or that we are more concerned about than our spiritual growth. And then finally, obviously, he talks about good soil, ready to allow growth, ready to allow fruitfulness, and then the wonderful thing this can produce. What we need to realize in listening to this parable is that while Jesus is talking about the ground, and we know that the ground is as it is, what makes us different from all of the rest of creation is that we can change ourselves. We could go and change those different types of ground into more fertile ground more able to support life and growth and everything else. And so, for example, where we find that there's this very hard outer surface, especially in ourselves, we can overcome that. We can be prepared to let down those defenses of ours, to allow other things to touch us in life, and to thereby give space for growth in our lives. Where our faith is still shallow and we meet hardships, where it's a difficult life and rocky life, we can go and remove those rocks and make the ground more able to support life and growth and so on. Where there are weeds, all of these concerns in our lives, we have the power as humans to strip those concerns from our lives, to give them less importance and to focus a bit more on our spiritual growth so that we don't get trapped in a position where growth is not possible for us. And then finally, we can put ourselves in a condition of being fertile ground where we would be ready for new birth, growth, and so on. And so these are quite interesting considerations. But what we also have to realize is, as I said, we can go and prepare or improve other ground. We can go, as I said, and improve the ground that's rocky, the ground that's got its weeds and so on. And this refers to us being able to go and to help others around us that have these things blocking their spiritual growth in their lives. We can help them to change, to bring about a more fertile situation in their lives. We can go and help them to deal with their difficulties in life, the rocky road they have ahead of them or that they're dealing with at that time. And we do this as we do by helping them to get away from too much worry about the other concerns of life, by being there for them, even if they may not be that responsive always, even if they sort of give the impression they don't want us there, letting them know that we are there for them, that we are there to listen, to help as much as we can, and to support them through these difficult times. And this is our calling, obviously. The problem is that quite often we don't think that that would make very much difference in other people's lives. And that's where we have to look at the last type of ground. When Jesus talks about the fertile ground, he says it produces fruit now 100, now 60, now 30 times what would be expected. And this is referring to what the normal production level of land in his area was, and how much more fruitful we can be. And so we can have great trust that if we rely on him, if we follow the way he told us to live, and we do reach out to those, and we do try and help other people to overcome what they're battling with and to overcome the things holding back their spiritual life, then we can have way more fruit, or produce way more fruit than we would expect. And this can give us confidence to go forward and to be more what we are meant to be in our world, with confidence that God is with us. And may God bless you. Thank you.